Good evening again, and welcome to my shop. This is Bruce. Today I'm going to show a little bit of what's in my box. This is a Kennedy style box, and it has the main door has a lock with a Ox Tool Livermore, California badge on it, and that's the actual door of it. So we're going to have a look at that. Have a look at that. In the meantime, before we get to that, there's been a lot of talk about the machinery's handbook. Now, this particular one, this is my earlier version of ones I've got. I've got the 29th edition, I think, in my little office, and this is a previous one, and I bought this one in 1977. 1977 I bought this 20th edition to replace one that I got from a retiring engineer, and I think, if I remember rightly, that was the 11th edition, and that had been well worn. Anyway, these are the Bible for any engineer, of course, and any of us machinists. I just previously talked about the black books, and I don't go to this as often anymore since these black books have come out, because a lot of what I referenced here, or some of what I referenced here, not a lot, has been covered by the black book, and they are much quicker and easier to find. So what I'd like to do is just, there's some tabs here over time. I'll put tabs in, and I'll just visit what those tabs were. So the first tab there is, excuse me, is the page on mechanics, and I reference that quite a lot. And that, by the way, that's the 20th edition, and that was when the machinery handbook went metric throughout, so that it uses the metric and the SI system in calculations. The next tab is, so the next tab I've got is belts and sheaves. As quite often we have to cut a sheave or something. So in here I have that reference. The next reference is bolts and nuts, and as I say, I rarely go to that now because the black book answers all those questions quite comprehensively. Then this one I go to quite a lot. It's the stub Acme and Acme threads. Very, very comprehensive, and it's something that I deal with quite a lot. So that is one page, one series in this book that I use quite a lot. Then another one is thread cutting, obviously, as being that I deal with threads on a daily basis, basically. The next one is milling indexing. Once again, I just go straight to the black book because it's a quicker reference, and occasionally I'll go here if I need something more in depth or so forth. And then the other one is grinding, milling cutters, setups for the tool and cutter grinder, etc., the angles and so forth. And that's, but of course there's far more items in this book that I reference, but they're the main ones that I've been going to over the years, and I can't remember how many other things I've looked at. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to swing around here, and we're going to have a look at this box and see what. Beforehand, we talked also about Stan. Now, Stan set me up last year when he sent me this steel box. He put the thread tap handles and other things, wrenches, and other things in the steel box, and he locked that up with heavy duty Loctite and wound the screws in till they all locked up. And there's a movie on that I put up a video last year on that. So when I was at the bash this year, I decided, before I went to the bash, I decided I was going to do something that I hadn't done for many years, and that was to make a tank trap. And I made this tank trap with the intention of giving it to Stan, to see if Stan is capable of figuring it out. It's only 6 pieces. This is the tank trap. There you go. Now, I was very kind to him, because what I did was, oh, you can see that, I stamped numbers on these six parts. One end of each one of those I stamped a number. But what I really did was I stamped number 1 on every single one of them. So that won't help him at all. So we gave this to Stan that night, and he tried to, he played around with it. He was very tired, and I deliberately gave it to him when he was very tired. And he threw it on the bench, and Brad Jacobs and Phil and a few others got together, and the Bob was there, and they played around with it, but we'd had a few drinks and it was a bit tiring. So anyway, that's the unit, and I've made a few of those, and here's some of the parts that I took the opportunity. This one here, this little steel one, is one I made by hand when I didn't have a milling machine. That's probably 35 years, or at least 35 years ago was that one, and it's always been in my cupboard, and I've made quite a few over the years and given them as a thing. You can buy these sort of things off the shelf for a few dollars, I think, but this is handmade. This is from me to Stan. So there you go. It's 6 pieces. There's a key. There's one piece shaped like that. 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 And one piece shaped like that. That's what Stan has. 6 pieces. And I'm very curious to know whether he's managed to figure it out. So that saga will carry on over time. Let's get to this box of mine. I might shift the camera around and see if we can see inside here. I'll put a couple of things down. So that's the box. It's got a few items there. So what we'll do is we'll take a drawer out and we'll get a close-up of what's in that drawer. So what we have is key broaches. And so there we have 14, 12, half inch, 7/16, 10mm, 3/8, 3/8 again, 8mm. Couple of different brands, so they're different thicknesses, 5/16, shorter ones, longer ones, and all the way down to the smallest, I think is the one in here. Sorry, this one here, 3mm, I think is the smallest we've got. Yeah, 3mm. So that's the one drawer. The next drawer, oh, this is very heavy. So this drawer has got bushes. You can see here, this bush here is a 38mm bush with the slot in it, and then we have all of these that's going down. This is all metric. So all of these bushes here are metric bushes, right down to quite small. Some trouble here. Yeah, 12mm bushes, and then here we have, in this section, we have all the little flaps that go in. So when you set up, I might show one of these in a minute. Okay, so then on the top drawer is all imperial bushes. Now these are bushes I've gathered up, either made or gathered up over time, and I took some time to put them in this box some time ago. In here, in the machinery's handbook compartment, are tapered bushes. The tapered bushes, and down below we have quite a comprehensive amount of larger ones, as you can see here. This one's a 1 3/4, and they go right up. And here we have these shims of all different sizes. And this one's 1 1/4 to 1 3/8. So what you can see here is I've got an extremely comprehensive collection of bushes, shims, and all those I use on my arbor press, this little old arbor press, and at times this is an Australian made arbor press, and that's quite good. Of course with the larger ones they go into the hydraulic goods. So I'll put that aside, and just for those that may not be quite familiar with how all of this works. I'll go back out again. How all of this works. So we'll pick say an 8mm unit. So that 8mm unit will have, and say we've got to cut an 8mm in a 32. Sorry, we'll find one here that works. There we go. So we've got 8mm for a 38mm hole. So what we do is we put that in the hole that we're going to cut the keyway. We then introduce the unit down, and we press it through. When it's finished that cut all the way through, we then pick one of these keys and put in the behind there. So we'll dig around here, see if we can find one. They are here. It's just a matter of finding one of the correct ones for that width. I'm picking up all the wider ones. There's one there that could be used. So this one is quite thick. This one's a 2.4mm. 2.4mm. There'll be others. Some of these are marked. Some of these are very good. This one's 0.5mm. So depending on the depth that we need to go, these units will only cut so much and then they'll bog up. So you've got to do it with a series. So we'll do the series, and then we'll add a shim in there, and then the next time we'll add another shim in there until we get to the depth cut that we want in that keyway, so that the keyway broach may be used 3 times or 4 times to get that depth that we want, each time being pushed out further and further, but not overdoing it. So with this selection, as you can see, that's only part of that collection. You can, and there's one there, paper thin, probably only a thou and a half, something like that. So we have all of those here. So that's the and of course then, as I showed you before, these are bushes that can be used, so they can be fitted over one of these bushes. This shim bush could be fitted over and extend the range of that same main bush. So I've been very lucky to pick these up. I'll be with you in a sec. That's Madam calling me for dinner, probably 7:45. Yeah, so there you have it. What's in my box with the Ox Tool tag. Thank you.